Hey, Fae folk, welcome back. So, 2025 is coming to a close, which means we have to go over my best and worst dolls of the year. Now, if you've been here before, you know that I like to make sure that my last video of the year is my top dolls of the year, just because it feels like good vibes to be like, okay, the year's closing, let's start the new year out on a good note, which means that today we're going to be going over what I personally believe are the top 10 worst dolls of 2025. So we're going to be a little bit mean in today's video, but it is, of course, always all in good fun. Reese's here, so that automatically means that it's going to be a good video. Isn't that right, Princess? She's like, I make everything better. Now, of course, this is just my list. I know like tons and tons and tons of doll YouTubers do this list, and they all have different opinions, which is fine. And it's also totally fine if you guys have different opinions about these dolls. You might love all of these, and while I can't understand you, I will still respect you. So do please just be like kind about it if you want to express that in the comments down below. But you're always free to disagree with me. It's not that big a deal. If you find yourself enjoying the video, if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hype. Ever since they added hyping, I like can't get that sentence out because I'm just like, there's a fourth thing now. But if you are finding yourself enjoying, if you could do those things, it is really, really helpful to the channel. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into my list. Okay, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. 10th place is mostly here on principle and not so much for design, and that is the Bratz and Gentle Monster collab doll. I made a whole video about this, so like I'll link it somewhere on screen here if you want to see all of my in-depth thoughts. To sum it up though, this is just so far out of the realm of being reachable for most doll collectors. Like realistically speaking, the doll is like an accessory to the sunglasses that you get. This was definitely a release that wasn't for doll collectors. It was for people who like Gentle Monster or people who like luxury fashion and luxury accessories and that sort of thing. I just don't like it. I'm really sorry. Like, my general opinion has always been that I think luxury goods are supposed to be things that are like handcrafted or made from really, really wonderful materials and like master artisans. And in today's day and age, I'm not saying that like that's never true. And I don't know if that's true of Gentle Monster. I don't know anything about them. But luxury in today's day and age definitely has a lot more to do with name and status than it does with like actually vastly superior products, and that bothers me. And like in general, the concept of a doll brand doing a collab with a higher end fashion house or accessory house or whatever, it doesn't inherently bother me. Like, I think it can be done, but I do think that it always needs to be done in a way where like it is still at least accessible to collectors. Like, I mean, Bratz also did the Jean Paul Gaultier Sasha. I didn't like that doll, and she was too expensive for me, mostly because I didn't like her. But I think that doll was like $150, which is still extremely expensive. But the Gentle Monster doll was like 300 plus, and she was extremely difficult to get. There were like 4 pop-up locations, I think it was, only one in the US, like a very limited run online. It's a different level of inaccessibility. You know, $150, I'm not trying to like by any means say that that's chump change for the Jean Paul Gaultier one, but like that is still within the realm of where collector dolls sort of sit at this point. Definitely towards the high end, but like an average collector Barbie is like 100-ish dollars. So 150 is pushing it, but it's still like, okay, adults who like collecting dolls is their thing. It's I don't want to say attainable because it's like different for everybody, obviously. And I still think that that's too much money. But in today's day and age, that's like relatively normal. Whether that's good or bad, this is not the video for that. I'm already going off way more than I intended to. Point is like the Gentle Monster release was not only extremely exclusive and really marketed towards not doll fans, the doll was just sort of an accessory, but she was so expensive that it doesn't feel like something that even adult collectors who devote most of their money towards doll collections, most of their like free money towards their doll collections, could buy. Like, this is just getting into the realm of so expensive that it's like you're disconnecting from your core base. I don't know. I just personally thought that this was a really gross collab, a really tone deaf collab, given like the state that most people in the US, which like MGA is a US based brand, live in. That's it. We're gonna keep it at that just to like keep it cool. I'm not gonna go off on an entire rant again. I literally just was like, oh, I made a whole video. Point is I thought it was stupid and gross and weird, and I hope that we never see anything on this level again because we already live in a dystopia and I don't want it to get any worse. And also, like, the doll was cute. but not even close to like that expensive cute, whatever. So yeah, on principle, she had to be on the list somewhere, and it just so happened to be 10th place because like I don't know. I rank like the ugliest dolls, so this one had to be low on the list. Okay, I kind of feel bad about this one, but also she's on the list. So if any of you all watch Angel Loza here on YouTube, you might have heard him say before about like quote unquote new doll goggles, where he might in his like rankings and stuff rank a newer doll more favorably because they're new. This is something that like isn't exclusive to dolls and like a lot of people know about. I just like his phrase, the new doll goggles. But yeah, just like that newness bias, I feel like I'm sort of having the opposite of that, where this doll is in my head more, and like I'm thinking about how ugly she is because she's a new release. So maybe, I'll look back and think, she didn't really deserve to be on here, but she's on here today. It's Vivian, okay? It's Vivian something. I don't even know her last name. That's how little I like this doll, I guess. From the new Rainbow High Bedazzling lineup. I've talked about this doll in like 3 videos recently at this point, just talking about how much I dislike her. So we're gonna keep it short. I know I said that about Jensen Monster. I'm gonna keep it short. I think that the face doesn't in any capacity match the like execution of the hair. The dress is a absolute mess in my opinion, both design wise and fit wise. Like it doesn't look like it was sewn for this doll. The bustier is huge. It does not fit her. The shoes are just boring. There's no accessories. Everything about this doll is just like it just looks bad. Like it looks like the worst possible version of kidcore, where it's not even like fashion. It's just this is a full toddler dress that you stuck an adult with glam makeup into. And like I said this in one video talking about her, like you can dress in like more quote unquote childish ways and still have it be very cute. Like again, kidcore is a whole subcategory of fashion. This is not it. Okay, she just looks bad. I'm sorry, I really hate this doll. It inherently is so funny of me that I ranked this next doll as like being worse, because obviously the closer we get to the top, the worse the doll is than Vivian. Because I think at first glance, she's definitely not as bad. This is the fourth styled by design Barbie. The reason she's higher up on the list is not because I hate her because she's ugly. I do hate this bun. I despise this style of super tight, like super neat buns on dolls. And also, it's not for me on people either. I'm sorry if you like it. If you feel confident that way, that is fab. But I don't like the way it looks. I like when hair is a little bit more messy and realistic and lived in. And even for dolls, I'm just like bangs, like face framing pieces, half up, half down. Like there's so many more interesting styles you could do. And that's why I dislike this doll so much. She's in the Style by Design line, which I have one of the dolls from. I think the whole line has been sort of hit or miss. If I'm remembering correctly, the first one I didn't like at all. And then the Bill Greening one I didn't get because she wasn't like really drawing me in super hard, but that was a personal issue. I think that was a really fun doll. Like at least there have been some that have very clear, interesting, exciting designs. This is just so boring. And I talked about her, I think, at some point in a Dolls I Don't Want video. This doll is just so absolutely nothing. The hair is boring and, in my opinion, ugly. The dress is just a poorly matched this doll's nude skin tone, like fit and flare mermaid esque style gown, the black cape situation. Like nothing about this is unique or fun, and it to me it doesn't even feel well executed. Like I went off about the fact that the dress doesn't match her skin tone. What are we doing here? You either need to make it significantly lighter or darker so that it's clear that it wasn't supposed to match your skin tone, or you need to have it match your skin tone. This just looks like no one gave a shit, and it just really bothers me. She's just uninspiring, and clearly that aggravates me. Next up is another Barbie, technically a Ken, and I kind of feel bad about this one because I have seen him on a couple of different people's worst of the year list, which like it does make sense. As a community, we're going to have like collective opinions that are like a little bit more popular. I just feel bad because like everyone is shitting so hard on this doll. Everyone shit so hard on this doll when he came out, and that is the Kid Super Ken. And I have to join in because I just don't think this is necessarily the look. I think realistically, I've seen so many people talk about how they like the jacket and everything else is an absolute wash. I disagree to a certain extent. I think honestly, all of these pieces, including the base doll, could be very interesting. Just the way they are put together, I don't have anything nice to say, so we can just move on. Sixth place is going to see our first Monster High entry, but spoiler alert, it will not be the last for this video, unfortunately. But this one is the Lost Boys Skeletor doll. Listen, I feel like this was a very polarizing doll when it came out, and even now I feel like opinions are quite divided on it. I genuinely can't even look at anything else on the doll outside of this ass mullet. There's genuinely no reason to be a company as huge as Mattel, who employs and could employ, they fired a bunch of people for, let's be honest, no good reason, could employ so many talented creatives. And this is the best mullet that we could come up with. This is the best way we could figure out how to execute this mullet on a gender bent character. Because we've never managed to see a female presenting person who has a mullet that doesn't look like this. What did they do? Like I just there's I have no idea what's going on with this doll. It looks so dumb. It's like a little cone on top of their head. Like it listen, it's bad. Fifth place is a doll that I honestly didn't think was going to make this list until throughout the year for various reasons I ended up keep seeing her stock photos, or I ended up keeping seeing her stock photos. Y'all know what I mean, regardless of my poor sentence structure at the moment. And yeah, when I like was going through everything for this year and trying to come up with the worst, I was like, I think she actually might be up there. This is the Sparkle and Slime Iris Bow. It's an Iris Bow doll from Rainbow High, her second one. And I feel so bad because her base doll, I do think, is genuinely so pretty. The hair blend is so fun. Like, I love a good rainbow. Can't go wrong with that. If you zoom in on the makeup, the pink around the eye and especially the gold glitter on the inner corner is so nice. Her lips have this gorgeous gradient to them. Like, base doll, great. But what are we doing with these fashions? What are we doing with these fashions? The like shrug sort of situation, like the shrug hoodie that she's wearing, is my favorite piece of hers. I do think that could be very cute in an outfit, just not this one. The shirt underneath, I don't think is necessarily terrible either. I just don't know if it really matches. The skirt is what absolutely kills it for me, though, because like if you look at the top half, even if you aren't a fan, I think, there's a couple different fabrics at play here. There's like the fake hoodie strings, and the colors match her rainbow. And then you just suddenly have Bella Parker pink on the bottom for no reason. It's not present anywhere else in her design. It doesn't make any sense. I thought that I kind of liked this skirt and was like, oh, I would use that for a different doll, until I looked closer and I saw all the holes all over the fabric. And I've said this before, like, I definitely think you can use realistically, I think you can use any fabric in a way to make it successful. I think this is maybe one of the trickier ones. And I definitely don't think that this was a successful use of the fabric. Like, it just looks so silly goofy. The ruffles with the elastic band, with the bow, and like these little tendrils, and then everything has these holes all over it. It's just an absolute mess. And it doesn't match literally at all. Like, it doesn't even come close to matching with this doll. Her shoes are super boring. And then the fact that she has a good base doll is sort of ruined by the fact that the whole gimmick with this line is that their legs are clear and you're supposed to like take the legs apart and put slime in them and then close them back up. So really, she doesn't even have a good base doll to just buy to redress, because her legs are clear and they're meant to be filled with slime. Obviously, you don't have to fill them with slime, but you can't really get around the fact that they are clear. So like, you can't put her in a skirt and expect her legs to match her face, because it's not going to happen. So I think that's what ultimately ended up putting her on the list for me, is that while I feel bad because she is such a pretty face, she doesn't even actually have a good base doll, because her legs are hollow and clear, and yeah, it's just kind of a mess. Moving on, though, we have an LOL OMG. I like low key sort of forgot that these existed. I feel like they're, if not done making dolls, they're very very close. So the one that we're featuring here for fourth place is the LOL OMG I Spy superhero. I think she has a name. I didn't look it up. This whole line was really terrible, just in general, but I think she was by far the worst. Like, LOL has done superheroes before, and they have definitely looked better. She just, I think she's not cute, but I think she also really exemplifies LOL OMG as a brand just going downhill. Like, bearing in mind, this was the brand that, like, for $20 to $25, you would get unbelievably detailed outfits with like tiny little faux zippers and layers upon layers upon layers of clothes. Like, I'm talking undershirt, shirt, jacket, like, was not uncommon to see from LOL OMG. Certainly, at the very least, like a shirt and a jacket, or like even a bodysuit and then a shirt on top. Like, you always got so many pieces of clothing with LOL OMG, and they were always decked out. Sometimes there would be glitter or embroidery or lace or like tons of studs. Like, LOL OMG, regardless of whether you liked them or not, it cannot be argued that they used to produce some of the most intensely high quality clothing that we have seen in recent years on fashion dolls. And this is where they are now. Yeah. Fittingly, third place goes to a trio of dolls. I'm cheating a little bit, but I just couldn't really pick a worst one, and it is still LOL. LOLOL. It is still LOL OMG with the Powerpuff Girls dolls. This one pisses me off on principle, sort of like Gentle Monster, except I also think they're ugly, which is why they're so much higher up on the list. But I'm aggravated. Again, I made an entire video. I'm aggravated because this was the perfect collab. If you were to look at LOL OMG dolls and go, what brand are they perfect for? It's the fucking Powerpuff Girls. Like, it is right there. It is right there. And I feel like this is something that like so many people were excited for, and so many people still love these. And that's fab. Like, that's great if you do. I just I just think they're really bad. I think that the eyes look weird. Um, I specifically have a gripe with Bubbles. I think she looks the worst. People did not like that take, whatever. But the biggest thing is that they're all wearing reused outfits from other LOL OMGs. Like, if this collab had been done when LOL OMG was at like the height and they were just popping out like hits after hits after hits, I think this could have been one of the best releases from the brand. But instead, it had to come at a time when LOLMG was already sort of like declining. So they just got a bunch of reuse shit and really like boring purses. And it's just really disappointing. I think these dolls would have been on the list anyway, but they could have been much lower if it weren't for the fact that the potential was literally sky high. So that made them so much worse for me, hence why they're in third place. I don't necessarily think anyone is going to be surprised about my second place pick, unless you're surprised that I didn't pick it for first place. It's the Edward Scissorhands Skeletor doll. This one is certainly a personal gripe. I mean, I do think this is a terrible doll. So I think would be on the list regardless, but perhaps slightly lower if it weren't for the fact that I was so excited for this doll. Ages ago, I made a video being like, oh, here are different characters that I think should get Skeletor dolls, and Edward Scissorhands was one of them. So when we got the teasers and it was like, hey, we're going to make this, the way I lit up, I was so excited. And then this is what we got. And I hate her. And I hate her more because I was so excited. And also, just like, I don't know. Hi, baby. Come here, cutie. Coming off of the back of some Skelectors that I had been excited about, Emily, I know she was like contentious, but I really, really liked Emily from The Corpse Bride. And then the Alien Skelector. And then this is what we got. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I genuinely can't look at this doll for too long because I just get angry. So let's move on to first place. that'll calm me down, right? Much as it pains me, first place is going to another Monster High doll, and that is the Create-A-Pet Frankie Stein. This is a bad doll, in my opinion. I feel like a lot of people sort of forgot that they existed, but if you're looking at the image on screen right now as your friendly reminder, that's what they look like. And it's just really rough. A lot of people compared this doll to a G2 doll when we first got pictures of them, and I cannot say I disagree. And I think that this doll sort of makes me feel quite similarly to Edward Scissorhands, where it's like, y'all were making good Skelectors. What happened? It's not like this Frankie came out in a year where like every single G3 release was just ass. It's not even close to like that. I mean, I know the like third core dolls, the core refresh 2 dolls, not everyone was a super big fan of. I personally really liked them, and even if you didn't, I think on a quality level alone, they're better than this Frankie. We got Scary Sweet Birthday this year, which was an incredible line. Specifically, that Draculaura was like a Draculaura that was so pretty that even people who hate G3, like some of them were coming around and being like, okay, this one's pretty, like this one's good at least, which says a lot about how good that line was. We had a couple of really popular Skulltimate Secrets releases this year. Like, hello, even I would even go so far, and I I really do not like the Buried Secrets dolls, but I would even go so far as to say that some of the Buried Secrets dolls were better than this Frankie. Like, they're just so bad. And I think what's frustrating is that the concept of the playset is really cute. Like the idea of having this sort of create a monster-esque, except it's create a pets situation. It flows very naturally for Monster High. It feels very natural for Frankie, the Frankenstein, to be included with this set. Like, this is the perfect character for a set like this. And I don't think it would have been hard to make them not look like this. Obviously, they were going to use poly hair for a playset doll. Like, Mattel loves using poly hair even when it's not necessary. So, of course, for a playset doll, they would. But not giving them this horrific high ponytail that is just so obviously polypropylene would have helped. Perhaps like a little like shoulder length side bob, like not perfect. It's still poly, and like a lot of people would still hate it, but at least it wouldn't look like this in the stock photos. A slightly different print on the dress, perhaps. And I'm always a defender of like clear plastic, but even I'm looking at this coat like surely we could have done something else. I feel like it could not have been that hard to make a slightly more budget doll, because it does go with a play line that doesn't look like this. And even this year, Monster High proved that with the Scary Sweet Birthday Claudine doll, who was a playset doll with Scary Sweet Birthday. So like she clearly didn't look as high end as like Draculaura and Frankie and Cupid and all that, but she still fit the theme and was still like very much a passable to actively cute doll. So G3 Monster High knows how to make playset dolls that don't look like shit. They just didn't for this Frankie, and it bothers me. So yes, unfortunately, I think they absolutely deserved that top spot there. Like the dishonor of being top spot. That was just such a random, weird blip, like in the images and stuff that were floating around on Instagram. Like you'd have really, really pretty stuff, and then suddenly this Frankie would pop out, and it's just like, what's going on? What a weird situation. But yes, those are my top 10 least favorite dolls of 2025. I would love to hear down below what you personally think are the worst dolls of the year. I'm especially very curious to like see, just because I'm filming this obviously before I film my best dolls of the year, and I anticipate that I will be reading comments either like I'm trying to like think my filming schedule. I will have either just filmed but not posted yet my top dolls of the year, or I will not have even filmed them. And I think it's really funny because the potential is there for one of you to be like, "Oh, this is my least favorite doll of the year," and it could be on my favorites list, and that just gives me the giggles. I just think it's a funny concept. So sound out down below. Obviously, in a couple of days, you will find out what my favorites of the year were, and then we can have that whole discussion. But yeah, that's going to be it for me for today, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night, or whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.